Hey there, thank you for tuning in today. If you could, please give this video a like and subscribe. Definitely a like, it really helps me out, but let's get to the content. Hey there, Brett the Portland Real Estate Cowboy, and today I'm going to be looking at Portland and doing a market report with the close of December 2022's data. I'm going to provide timestamps so you could skip to a certain area that you might want to hear about more than others. We're going to be looking at Portland. We're going to be looking at Gresham, Oregon City, out to Sandy, Estacada, bringing it back into Lake Oswego, Tiger Tualatin, Beaverton, and Hillsboro. So, without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump, straight into the data off looking at Portland. And in Portland, we can go ahead and see Portland has 461 active units. Right now, Portland has 2 months of active inventory. And you can kind of see, right here on this graph right here, the inventory really kind of starting to slide off. And we're going to bounce back and forth just a little bit here. Right here, we have 102 units listed last month and 122 units being sold. So essentially, we're selling off more units than we're putting on the market right now, which is obviously probably why we're seeing that dip in the inventory. Right now, we can kind of see the average listed price versus the average sold price. Looks like it's staying pretty consistent right there, but we're going to go ahead and just kind of look at a percentage here in a second. And average days on the market, we are looking, goodness gracious, almost 80 days on the market. And coming on down here, I got my handy dandy calculator. I'm glad I still got this right here. And what we're going to go ahead and do is see. So the average sold unit in Portland was $744,707. Whoa, I said that terrible, didn't I? $744,707. How about that? A little bit better. And we are going to go ahead and divide by the listed price, which was $857,039. And what we got here is an average of 13%. So essentially, the houses around the Portland area are being discounted about 13% to get these units sold. So, right here, we could see right there, 78 days on the market. So essentially what I would maybe try to tell, a client of mine who's really kind of trying to look for value more than anything else would be, why don't we try to look for maybe a unit kind of approaching that, 80-day mark or something kind of close to it. And, let's take a look at what the original listing was, some comps, see if there's any price adjustments, and maybe try to come in, around that 13% below essentially the asking price, and see if maybe we could try to scoop them up a good deal. All right, let's see if there's anything else interesting here that maybe I'm missing. No, I think I covered it. 461 active units. Average sold price, $750. 2 months of inventory, 78 days on the market. And now let's move on. So after we leave Portland, where should we head next? Let's go ahead and do like a little clockwork pattern right here and just head over to Gresham next. Come on, Gresham. All right, let's make it bigger for you. And right now, Gresham is sitting at 122 active units. And dear God, 1.3 months of inventory. I mean, this is going to be a theme that I think we're going to see, you know, almost this whole time, but inventory is low all over the place. And so 1.3, I mean, that's super low. And I mean, we could just see, look at that drop off right there. You know, I mean, we were up, you know, right around here, you know, pretty consistent, you know, throughout the summer, all the way through October, and then just kind of fell a little bit off of a cliff there. But coming on down, I mean, you could just see by, you know, the you know, proximity of these bars right here. Gresham's holding on to their listing prices a little bit more than Portland. And yep, Gresham, I mean, look at this. I mean, this is like the staircase to heaven. Or I mean, I guess if you're a seller, kind of like the staircase to hell right here, but you know, you're just creeping on up, creeping on up, creeping on up. It looks like they're about 58 days on the market. Yep, 58 days on the market. So right now in Gresham, it's taking these sellers about 58 days to sell their houses. It looks like the average sold price is $467,180. And the average listed price was $498,422,000. So what that means is the sellers in Gresham are essentially taking about 6% off of the listing price to get these houses closed. And we can go ahead and see here, we had about 58 units come on the market in Gresham and 49 units sold. So we actually did have more units come on the market in Gresham than we did sold. We're going to go ahead and I guess see, you know, here next month when I do this again, if that stays true and maybe we get a little bit of rise in the inventory. So 6% off list price. Average is 58 days of the houses being on the market before they are selling, and 122 active units with super low inventory of 1.3. All right, where should we go next? Let's continue the clock and maybe head on down to Oregon City. Let's see what Oregon City's got for us. Oh my God. Even lower inventory, 1.2 months of inventory, 78 active units in Oregon City. Wow. I mean, this right here, this inventory curve, I mean, that's dramatically less than we saw essentially in Gresham. I mean, seems a little bit more, you know, stable, but oh my goodness, Leah, look at these discrepancies in these peaks right here. I mean, this right here is telling you right now that the sellers essentially are discounting their prices a little bit more around Oregon City. Days on the market looking a little bit better, maybe like 56, 57. And let's go down and take a look at the chart. 54, okay, 54 days on the market. So these houses down here in Oregon City are sitting on the market for about 54 days before selling. And with the calculator, let's go ahead and see the discount that our buyers are getting. 430 divided by 753,139, and oh goodness, that doesn't even make sense. 20%. I mean, 20% is what you get, you know, whenever you take this average sold price of 600,000 divided by the listing price of averaging $753,000. You know, I think that there was probably like an outlier or something in there that is definitely making that data a little off. just kind of cruising through and what we've seen for the year. I mean, it looks like, we're kind of looking at, okay, more like mid sixes, for the average sold price in Oregon City. We can see here, what is that, September? September was the lowest month out of the year with a sold price of averaging 582. We were a little better than that last month at 600,430. But, compared to the year total, I think right here you can see the average for the year was 630, and last month we came in at 600. So it does kind of seem like a little bit softer of a month in December. And obviously right here, days on the market on this column, we can see 54. That was essentially the longest time that we've seen all year on houses sitting on the market. Broke into the 40s, maybe 2 months, and that was it. But average for the year was 29, and last month we did 54. And honestly, Oregon City, I love that area. I think it's beautiful, a great location. Moving on through our beautiful city. Why don't we, from Oregon City, take a step out, maybe try to hit up the Mount Hood area, go over to Sandy next. So right here, Sandy, we have 122 active units, 1.3 months of inventory. That is still pretty low, slightly better than Oregon City, and the same as Gresham. Just like Gresham, I mean, the inventory has fallen off a cliff essentially since October. I mean, right here you can see November and now December, just going on down. And right here, I mean, you can see, it looks like the people out there in Sandy are getting pretty close to their listing. I mean, right here we can see the red bar above the yellow bar a few times, indicating that people were offering above asking. Like right here in November, things were selling more than asking, and then right here in December it flipped, and I guess we were seeing a little bit more reduction at that point in time. Average days on the market, that looks pretty close to a 58. Let's see. Yep, 58. So 58 days on the market, which is higher. Our average for the year out there in Sandy was 27 days on the market. So 58 is considerably higher. But I mean, you can kind of just see, the uptick that we, have essentially just going up ever since May. Ever since May, we've done nothing but just go up. And now we're up about 58 days on the market here in Sandy. Before we do the math, it looks like the average sold price in Sandy was $491,936, so $492. And, just kind of looking through the data here, I'm seeing some low fives, high fours. I mean, pretty consistent, except, look at December, $467 was the average sold price. And so that is the lowest that we have been all year in Sandy. And 467, 180 divided by the average list price, which was 498, 422. And we have 6%. So sellers in Sandy coming off their price about 6% after 58 days on the market to get their houses sold. Before we move on, let's go ahead and look. 58 new units listed in December and 49 units sold. So hopefully that raises our inventory levels a little bit higher than 1.3 for the month of January. We will have to see here next month. Okay, let's move down. Eagle Creek. God, I love that place right there too. All right. Oh, this is a small sample right here. 11 active units, 3.8 months of inventory, so a little bit longer. Pretty consistent on the inventory by month. I mean, that data looks crazy. Like, it just, we don't have enough to really make some statistical reasons here. Days on the market, 68. I mean, not bad. I mean, you know, some of these outlying areas, I think, kind of stay a little bit more, you know, consistent, you know, through the market fluctuations. 45 days is average for the year. We were at 68, which, I mean, is a bit higher. 108 for November. Wow, that was a lot higher. But, you know, down 20, 74, 18. So yeah, this right here just doesn't look like we are having some good data to go off of, which is unfortunate because Eagle Creek is one of my favorite areas. It's one of the areas I understand best, and it is an area that I would love to help you essentially kind of hopefully find maybe like your next homestead, maybe like family farm, hobby farm, or, you know, something of the sort. Speaking of all that, another one of my favorite places, Estacada. And that's right, I had to resend that to myself. So Estacada. So Estacada, 39 active units. Kind of low, but kind of a small town though too. And inventory by month, I mean, we can just see right here after June, I mean, the inventory in Estacada is like, look, it's like a shelf, you know, like right there, just boop, boop. And coming on down here, we can see, I mean, this graph right here looks pretty consistent, you know, with what the sellers are taking off their listing to get the houses sold. Days on the market, I mean, that looks pretty crazy. I mean, September was up over 60, and then it went, you know, what, 38, 39, and now, you know, up towards 80, which is, that's crazy. Crazy to see. So, yep, 76 days on the market in the Estacada area to essentially get your house sold in December. Yep, 38 before that, and 61 in September. It looks right here that the average sold price was $512,000. Compare that to the average list price, which was, oh God, $666,636. Uh-oh. And do the math real quick. I don't think that this is going to be a great indicator, just because, yeah, that's saying 25% off of a list price, which, I mean, some people are out there just fishing and maybe they got an offer and, you know, it hit what they were looking for. And so, I mean, with a small data size like that, maybe it was just thrown off, you know, quite a bit. But, you know, just kind of looking back through the year, you know, I guess the average right here is saying is 530. We were at 512 last month, which is below essentially the average for the year. You know, I'm seeing some high fours here and some closer to sevens here. So it kind of looks like we're kind of fluctuating, I would say between 5 and 600,000, but kind of a light month for Estacada. Units listed last month, 6. Units sold last month, 9. So be interesting to see if our inventory goes down even lower than the 1.7 that it's at currently. Okay, moving on down. Canby. Canby's after Estacada. So let's go ahead and check out Canby. 1.2 months of inventory. I mean, surprised, but I'm not. Canby is an absolutely exploding area. Another area that I honestly would love to serve you in. I mean, beautiful area down there. A lot of new development. I was down there, not too long ago, and it seemed like there was all kinds of new stores, new infrastructure, new retail, and new subdivisions that were going down there. I actually did a subdivision tour that I have a video of on my channel. I got 2 houses, a 5-bedroom and a 3-bedroom down there. If you're interested, please check it out and let me know if I could help. But kind of coming around through inventory, the tale's old as time. Kind of falling off right here, as we got into winter. And so right now we are currently at that 1.2 right there. I mean, we can see the past 2 months have been, hit pretty hard on the deductions that the sellers were taking, especially compared to over here. More of the fall months look pretty consistent, even over here. And days on the market, just climbing on up, approaching that 60 mark. So days on the market for Canby was 54. Average for the year, 29. Last month we were at 54. Let's check it out. 600 and 430 divided by 753, 139. And it's saying 20%. But, again, whenever you're talking about right here, 40 units that were sold, that data could be, impacted by a couple things. Or what it could be would be maybe a capitulation with some of the builders down there, cutting prices to essentially try to match the interest rates and, get a lot of these new units down there that we're seeing occupied. But, we had 24 new units come on the market, and we had 40 units leave the market in Canby. I mean, that should tell you something. I mean, people are moving to Canby. So, investors, right now would be a great time to be buying, maybe some land down there. I don't know if we could try to catch like a, 40 to 100 acre, piece down there and try to subdivide it. I've had success in the past, taking, essentially a 40 acre piece and dividing it into 5 acre lots and kind of selling the lots, with the HOA attached and doing, custom homes that were, architected and built by the owners of the plots. But let's go ahead and move back up, and I think your next stop is going to be let's go ahead and just go back up, and West Linn I think is the next one. Yep, West Linn, 1.2 months of inventory. Not shocking. I did one of these last month. I think they were pretty close last month. Yep, and hot area, 52 active units in West Linn. I mean, we can see right here again, even there, sellers are holding on to their asking prices pretty good in West Linn. But wow, look at that. Days on the market exploding for December. So average days on the market, 59. Compare that to the average for the year, which was 32. And essentially our average sold price was $732. Average listed price was $771. So 732 divided by 771. 6%. So coming off 6% after about 60 days. So about 2 months on the market, coming off about 6% is kind of what we're seeing. And the average sold price, I mean, for the year, we're looking at close to $900,000. last month we saw 732. So, I mean, that's like, what, $170,000 off of the average for the year in West Linn. And just looking through the data right now, I mean, that's the lowest month in West Linn for the year. And I mean, by far. February was the second one with 779. So, but I mean, you could compare that. I mean, 780,000 versus 730. I mean, that's a $50,000 difference. I mean, that's huge. I mean, that is huge. I mean, West Linn got hammered last month on essentially the average home sale falling so drastically. I mean, 816 in November, 900 in October, and all the way down to 730 in December. Okay, let's move on up. Lake Oswego. Lake Oswego is currently where I am living right now. So if you do want help around this area right here, I would be a great resource. 1.5 months of inventory, a little bit higher, higher than I was expecting. 91 active units. But you can still see the inventory sliding off right here. And dear God, that's crazy. I can just go ahead and tell you just by looking at this right here. I mean, something happened with the data to, I'm not even going to look at that. But, I mean, you could just see, over the course of the year, I've done a couple of videos on, Lake Oswego. And, I mean, it seems like Lake Oswego, like right around, October, it kind of seemed like we were seeing about a 25% reduction in listing price. November, a little bit more, and now right there, something crazy happened. But it looks like we kind of leveled off between November and December with about 58 days on the market. And, we were stepping essentially, up since July. So 56 days on the market in Lake Oswego to get your house sold. Compare that to the average, which is 29. And I mean, you can see it just kind of creeping on up, here since July. And, last January, that was a pretty hot market, different market then, and it was averaging 46. So 56, a little bit higher, but, not crazy for the winter months, and especially what kind of market we are in right now. So average sold price, $899. Average listed price, $1.7 million. So yeah, that's crazy. But just kind of looking through the data a little bit more. I mean, looks like our average right here is about $1 million for a house in Lake Oswego. And we essentially saw a drop of about 10% down to about $900,000 that we saw for the month of December. And just kind of looking through the data, that is the lowest month that we've had all year. So last month was the lowest average home price in Lake Oswego. 21 new active units versus 31 sold. So we sold more units than we had come on the market last month. And I'm sure sellers are going to be happy about that. All right. Moving on up. Tigard, Wilsonville, Tualatin. Yeah, I must have grabbed the wrong graph for the county, unfortunately, on that one. If someone's out there watching this video and you really want me to give a quick breakdown on the Tualatin, Wilsonville area, just leave it in the comments and I absolutely will accommodate that. But moving on up, I would say our next stop is Sherwood. 45 active units, 1.3 months of inventory. And we can see here, slight drop in inventory. Looks like our housing levels are pretty close to asking. And our days on the market are about 43. So 43 days on the market. Average sold price of $644,000. Average list price of 666. God, that's the second 666 that we have had for the month of December. And let's go ahead and just take a look real quick. 644 divided by 666 equals 4%. So sellers coming off about 4% after 43 days. So not bad. Month and a half on the market, come off your list about 4%, get your house sold. Not all that bad. But, you know, kind of taking a look here, you know, the average for the year was 702,000, and now we just hit 644. So, I mean, a reduction in the sold prices of about 50,000, 55,000. So, but, you know, back here in July, I mean, July was a hot month, you know, especially in the summer, and, you know, the average sold price was 634. So that was even lower than we saw in December. Last February, 634. Last January, 623. So nothing really crazy. Looking pretty stable out there in Sherwood. Sherwood's a great area too. I mean, that's really kind of coming up also. Next up, I think I have Newburgh next, if I remember right. Sherwood, Sandy, Portland, OregonCity, Lincoln, Forest Hill, Gresham, Estacada. Nope, I do not have the Newburgh, but I got Beaverton and Aloha. So another great area. Beaverton, 226 active units in Beaverton, 1.2 months of inventory. Same slide off right there of lessening inventory. Prices, I mean, look at the stability in that. That is something right there. Look at that. I mean, hardly any fluctuation. I mean, between listing and sold. Definitely a fluctuation there. I mean, increasing like crazy. It's that staircase to hell again right there from about July all the way until December. Looking at about 47 days on the market versus 21, which is the year's average. And I mean, we can see from, you know, July was at 13, 29, 32, 35, 37, 47, just that slow bleed up. And average sold price was 504,000 divided by the average listing price, which was lower, 499. So sellers for the win, 1% above asking. Sellers for the win. And we can see here the average price for the year was $553,000. And looking back through the data, yep, December, the lowest month that we've had all year. So that was the lowest average sold price all year was last month in the Beaverton, Aloha area at about $500,000. And I think lastly, we have Hillsboro, Forest Grove. Another 1.3. 1.3 has been a popular one today. So 1.3 months of inventory. Same situation, a little bit of a drop right there, but looking like the inventory levels have been pretty consistent. You know, since October, same thing looking like Beaverton. I mean, these prices are looking like the listings are pretty accurate, you know, when you see a list price, if you're going to be able to afford it or not. Approaching 40 days on the market. So average 42, not bad. Last month was 40, 30, and then 29. So, you know, I mean, we've been pretty consistent for the past couple months, but compared to 22, which was the year's average, 42 is pretty high. Average sold price was $557,000. And the average list price was $540,000. So essentially the average sold price was higher than the list price. So it looks like Hillsboro, you know, y'all were getting about, what, 3% above on your listing price. So congratulations there. Average for the year, 529. Last month we did see that 515. And, you know, kind of just comparing that to the rest of the year, I mean, looks super consistent, guys. It does. I mean, 493 in January. I mean, we essentially bled up through essentially the summer. Really stabilized actually in the summer, bled up in the spring. And then, I mean, we've been pretty consistent. 534, 532, 500, and now 515. So, yep, a better month than November, but all in all, a little bit less than the average for the year. And let's go ahead and take a look. Units listed, 101. Units sold, 120. So, yep, we sold more units in the Hillsboro area than we had listed. So I'm sure that definitely helped, you know, our sellers, you know, get that above asking price. Let's go ahead and see if I got everything. Yep, Estacada, Beaverton, Canby, Eagle Creek, Estacada, Gresham, Hillsboro, Forest Grove, yep, Lake Oswego, OregonCity, Sandy, Sherwood, and Wilsonville. So, guys, you know, I hope that you guys found value in the content. I can't believe if anybody actually stayed with me through that whole thing. Hopefully you found your timestamp and you saved yourself the pain of going through the whole market, but maybe you enjoy that kind of stuff like I do. And if that's the case, awesome. But I am hoping that you had some value in that. Please subscribe if you want to see the update for next month. Whenever I get June's data in my hand, I will be doing this again in early February. Like always, and for any of your buying and selling needs, please reach on out. PortlandRealEstateCowboy@gmail.com. If you could, give me a quick like, maybe a subscribe, and have yourself a wonderful afternoon. Bye.